On this week's episode of the ImagineEars Disney Podcast, we have our list of the top Pixar movies. We rank them 1 to 22. Plus, we look at Magic Kingdom opening this week. All that ahead on the ImagineEars Disney Podcast. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the ImagineEars Disney Podcast. I am your host, Matt, and I am joined, as always, by my good friend and co-host, Susie. Hello, Susie.
Hey, Matt.
How we doing?
Good. How about you? How was your 4th of July?
I had a great 4th of July. How about you?
It was good. It rained, but that was nice. And then, of course, the night of the 3rd, we watched National Treasure.
Yes, we did.
On our Discord channel with our friends.
We watched National Treasure. We had a good time. Later that weekend, I watched Hamilton for the first time.
Yeah.
Which was a ton of fun because we were actually supposed to go see it here locally in March.
Oh.
And then, of course, everything happened. So that was canceled and pushed to next year, I believe. So it was a lot of fun being able to see Hamilton for the first time. And
cool.
I got to tell you, like, it's impressive. Like, musically, Lin-Manuel Miranda just is so talented.
Well, we knew that because of Moana.
Sure. A lot of fun. They did a great thing. I think that is worth the price of admission for Disney Plus, just to be able to experience that for the first time. It was great, but great 4th of July. Hung out with family. Went swimming. We did the whole jet ski thing. It was a lot of fun. So,
oh dang, y'all must have started way earlier than we did. I slept until like 10:30, 4th of July. So I was like, oh, I guess I'll go outside. And then like a half hour later, it rained on our side of town.
Yeah.
So
it's been a lot of rain lately. So yeah, it's been crazy. Well, we hope you guys had a great 4th of July and welcome back to another live show for the ImagineEars Disney Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and a big thank you and shout out to our new patrons, our new Patreon subscribers, Christoph H, Stephanie E, Mike D, and Sarah L. So,
woohoo, guys! Thanks for getting the ball rolling.
Thank you for supporting the podcast. We appreciate that, and we'll talk a little bit about Patreon at the end of the show. But just a couple of quick announcements. Wanted to point this out since I am a travel agent with Travelmation. So tomorrow is actually a big day for us. In fact, this entire week, calling it Travelmation Week, leading up to the opening of Walt Disney World. And tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. on our agency's Facebook page, Travelmation, they're going to be debuting a work that has been in the works for a year now. And that is going to be the To the Future, a Travelmation story. It's a little documentary that our agency owner Adam has decided to do, and it's been worked on again for the past year.
Wow.
And I mean, it's just the story of how we went from a very small company to, obviously, if you can look at the photo, there are
quite a few,
and that's only about half of us. We are up to like 450 agents now.
Wow.
And it's really impressive what has transpired just over the course of a few years. Travelmation is now recognized as a platinum authorized Disney vacation planner. There are only a handful of those agencies in the country, in the world, that specialize in Disney, and Disney has recognized our company as one of the best to work with. And it has been, I've been with the company now for 4 years, and it has been an absolute pleasure to just be able to help families make magical memories. Disney vacations and beyond. So
nice. That's exciting.
Yep. So 8:00 tomorrow night, follow Travelmation on Facebook. That's where they will be showing it. And it's going to be a good time. So speaking of great times, today, cast member preview of Magic Kingdom.
Yes,
We got
that
to talk about
happened.
this for a minute.
Yeah, we do.
We are just getting so close to the opening officially of Walton's World, July
Oh my
11th.
gosh.
I wasn't sure if it was going to actually happen.
Either. I had no idea.
And watching on Twitter and following along today, I feel like, I feel better about this a little bit.
Yeah.
Just seeing up close what they've done with the parks, safety wise. I saw a lot of photos on on Twitter. I'm going to point out maybe a couple of them. This is from at Jane Florida on Twitter. But I mean, this just goes to show you what kind of safety precautions they're doing on all of the attractions. We got plexiglass on the Jungle Cruise, so that will help separate parties. And you're going to see stuff like this in every attraction. I saw similar barriers in the queue on Flight of Passage.
Wow.
Markers clearly in all the queues. So they have definitely stepped up their game in just ensuring that, much like Universal, I think that they've helped pave the way, and I think it's going to be a great opening later on this weekend. Plus, we got finally a up close look at the castle.
Yes.
From Attractions Magazine.
And, she's so pretty. It looks like the little like crystal things you find on the shop on Main Street. Like, it doesn't look real. Like, it just looks so fantastic. I don't know. There's just a lot of like fantasy and things around that. I love the bright colors.
I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, but like this, I love it. I think it's going to be great. It's very much like the one in Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
So 50th celebration right around the corner. So exciting. Well, we're going to jump into tonight's main topic.
Okay, good.
So
we got to back up a little bit and say like where this idea came from, because we were shocked when we realized we hadn't done a Pixar ranking yet, which is shocking. Yeah,
we have never ranked the Pixar movies in the 2 years we've been doing this, and I can't remember how did this come up. How did
Matt? So you need to follow us on all social media. Our Facebook is like Facebook in general, great place for all information. Matt runs our Twitter and is super fun on Twitter. I've been posting recently to Instagram, so follow us there. But on Twitter, Matt tweeted out from the podcast account that if Ratatouille is not in your top half of Pixar movies, then you can't be his friend. And I responded from my personal Twitter and said, well, it's going to make being your podcast host really awkward then.
And I was like, wait a minute.
Ratatouille, spoiler alert, is not in my top half of Pixar movies. So we were like, we gotta investigate and rank these. So
we're going to get in our rankings. And since we're doing this live, we want to know, while we're doing this, tell us your favorite Pixar movie. We'll highlight those at the end of our list. But before we start, we've already had some great comments. Adam from Travelmation says,
"Yay!
Thank you, Adam. That means a lot." And he said, "Thanks for the shout out. We really are looking forward to the documentary tomorrow. It's going to be great." Another one of our agents, Mike, is also excited for the documentary. So it is something you are not going to miss out on. So it's a pretty cool story, I got to tell you. So last shameless plug for Travelmation. Like, it is so exciting being with this company. Like, no joke. It is the best of the best. So at the end of the show, I'll give you my email again. And if you want to become an agent, we've had people become agents just like Mike. Mike is a listener to our podcast, and he's like, you know what? I kind of want to do the travel agent thing like Matt's doing. And sure enough, he became an agent, and he is killing it already. But yeah, it's a great company, great to work for. And so we'll get into that a little later. But for right now, let us launch into our top.
Let's get going.
Yes. So I guess
gloves are off.
I guess we should start from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
For number 22. So, and it's Pixar. Like, is there really are there bad Pixar movies?
Yes.
I think there's really only like one. There's really only one or two that I can really call.
There are several.
Okay. Wow. Well, Susie, we'll let you go first. So number 22 for you, please.
All right. Number 22, I have to be honest, is number 22 because I know it's in it, but I haven't seen it because I know how horrible it is. And I don't really want to watch it because nothing I ever saw about this movie would have convinced me to watch it. And that's The Good Dinosaur.
Okay.
It just sounded awful. The commercials looked boring. It just looked like it was artistic with no plot.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty low on my list too. In fact, it's 21, but 22 for me, I think stands alone as maybe one of the worst things that Pixar has come up with. And really, this one and then The Good Dinosaur are probably the ones I'm like, okay, those were not great. So, Cars 2. Cars 2 is the bottom of the barrel for me. 21. What do you have?
The merchandising for this was good, but the movie I did not enjoy. Monsters University.
Okay. Yep. That's definitely in the bottom half for me as well. Yeah, it's okay. Like, it's all right.
There's whatever. It's factually incorrect. This is so nerdy, but there's a line in the original Monsters Inc. where Mike talks about like how long he's known Sully, and then like Monsters University like negated that.
There's some continuity errors for sure.
Yeah.
And I really don't like the idea of Sully being a jerk.
Yeah. Up until recently. And then we're supposed to like love him in regular Monsters Inc. No. Monsters University is 21.
Yeah. Good Dinosaur is 21 for me. And we talked that very briefly. It's just not their strongest story.
No.
For sure. I really don't connect with any of the characters. I mean, Arlo's cool, I guess, but it doesn't bring the punch that most of the other Pixar movies.
The marketing for that movie was horrible.
It was pretty bad. So
yeah, very un-Pixar. Like, my 20 is Cars 2. I was so confused the whole time. I had no idea what was happening in that movie. It was all over the place, and I know one thing that didn't happen, and that was laughing because it's not funny.
Ooh, yeah. Cars 2 probably should have been straight to DVD. It made a theatrical run. Number 20 for me is actually Cars 3. Huh. So I do not favor the Cars franchise so much. I think out of all of the Pixar franchises, Cars is probably the weakest link. Even with the first one, the first one's okay, but like just should have just maybe stopped there. But Cars 3 was definitely better than Cars 2.
Yeah, the world building is really cute. There's a lot of like, that's one of the best things that Pixar does is world building, because so many of their movies are things that shouldn't have emotions or be alive that are. But Cars, it is very surface after that first movie. Yeah,
I agree. Where are we at?
All right, 19.
Yep.
All right, time to upset some people. WALL-E.
Okay. Oh man.
I saw WALL-E one time, you guys. I was so bored. I hated it. There's like he's adorable. He's so cute. But there's just like no dialogue. And then I don't like it. I got bored. Maybe I have a lower attention span than children, but
yeah.
I don't like WALL-E.
I won't say where WALL-E is just yet.
Oh, I'm sure it's high. A lot of people like it. And again, he is adorable, but the movie is just not one that I really got into.
Okay. Maybe I can help change your mind later. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we should make that a movie night, a Friday night movie. Watch WALL-E and revisit it if it's been a while. Okay. 19. That's where we are, right? 19? Yeah. 19 for me, Monsters University. We've already touched on that. Just really didn't like what they did with Sully, and the continuity between that and the first one. First one is a little off. So
yeah. It was really weird. All right, 18. Let's keep upsetting people. Onward.
18 is Onward for me as well.
Oh, okay, good.
Hey.
All right, so let's work on Onward for a little bit because you saw it on the cruise ship, right? Back when it came out.
Yes.
And then I first saw it when it came out on Disney Plus, and we had our little Discord movie night. It's cute. The references to other films are great.
Mm-hmm.
The ending is beautiful, but the beginning, the premise of we're magical, but we don't use magic. I just never really caught on to the premise of there's just something missing. It's like they rushed through. I don't know. It's almost good, but it just can't be good.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's missing something.
Yeah.
When I watched it, and I shared my thoughts with some people, and they agreed. Like, it almost feels like a DreamWorks movie. Not that DreamWorks movies are bad, but there's just something missing. Like, to just really bring that over the edge. Because again, the plot line, I think I like the plot line, and especially for a lot of people, you know, the plot of, you know, bringing back your dead father for a day. I mean,
and the animation with the pants, and it's cute. Yeah. But I think all the heart in this movie is at the end. There is no like reason to be drawn or connected to these characters through a deeper surface level than like, oh, I was raised by a single mom, or I have a brother. There's like I don't know. There's just not any connection, relatability. Like, I didn't care as much about these characters
right
at the beginning. I don't know.
No, fair.
Cool. I like that we had that one at the same.
Yeah, 18. 17.
Okay, Toy Story 4.
Me too.
Oh, good. I thought you liked it.
No, I did.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, I did.
17 is not high.
But here's the thing. So we're getting, again, not all Pixar movies are that bad in my opinion, but like they're the ones above this are like progressively better than I'm like, okay. Did I like this movie better? Yes. Yeah. And then that one next. And so Toy Story 4, I actually did like. I know you hated it.
I hated that movie so much.
I love Forky. I love the character of Forky. I love what they've done with Disney Plus afterwards with the Forky shorts.
It's cheating. Now, here's why I didn't like it. I've extensively given my opinion on the fact that the third one ended perfectly with this idea that like that cycle of a toy's life had ended, and then it begins with a new child. And then it's like Woody gives up on everything he fought for 3 movies because Bonnie goes through a phase like Woody did, where she's like, Woody, or Andy did. And then we talk about world building. The Toy Story 4 changed the game by, again, just saying if you glue googly eyes to something, now it's alive. And that is really creepy and weird. So everything has the potential to be a toy and to be alive. And I think that's bizarre.
Yeah, Victoria, not a huge fan of Toy Story either. So
it was just not necessary. And the ending was a copy and paste of Endgame.
Yep.
And I liked Endgame. I don't like Toy Story 4.
So wow, we have 2 in a row that we are even on, 18 and 17. So 16.
Well, okay. My 16 is Cars 3, and the only reason I have it a little bit higher is because it has one of my favorite NASCAR drivers in it, Ryan Blaney.
Yes.
That's about it.
Susie is a big NASCAR fan.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know. So
yes. So I loved all those references in the original Cars, and I liked that they got back to that in Cars 3, but again, like it wasn't.
Yep. Great. 16 for me, and I think really from this point on, it can be a toss up for a lot of people and what they like and what they don't like. I think we're definitely entering into okay, that was a pretty good movie. 16 for me is Finding Dory. I really did like the movie. I liked some of the new characters, Destiny and Hank, Becky. So and Gerald.
Gerald's great. Yeah.
Gerald's great. Sigourney Weaver, of course. And it was just a fun movie. Nice sequel. And you can't really say that for a lot of franchises. Sometimes the sequels are just not good.
Yeah.
And I think Finding Dory was pretty solid. But it's 16 for me.
Nice. My 15 is, here we go, the movie that started it all, the conversation, at least, Ratatouille. I don't have Ratatouille in my top. I view my Pixar list maybe not quite like yours. I kind of have like 70% of the movies I like, and then like 30% of the movies that I just don't ever want to see again. I tried watching Ratatouille again a few months ago, and I couldn't get into it. I can't, this is not like a logical reason. I like food and I think it's cute, but it's weird that it's rats, especially like with diseases. So I think it's, I think the attraction's cute, but I just
don't like it. We'll get that attraction soon. So
yeah. And I'll probably like it. And I probably won't go watch the movie again.
Until movie night, right?
Who gave you final authority to pick all the movies all of a sudden?
Hey, well, I mean,
I don't like that. It's not a partnership.
Eventually we have to get to Ratatouille. So.
Fine. Eventually.
Okay. That was your 16. That was your 16, right?
No, that was my 15.
Oh, that's your 15. Sorry. Yeah. 15 for me is Cars. So I liked the first one. Wasn't my favorite. At the time when it came out, I thought it was maybe one of the weakest Pixar stories, and thought it was a merchandise cow. That's what it was really built for, and kids love it.
They do, because my brother was in like 4th grade when this came out. So little boy with cars. We're already NASCAR fans. Yeah, this one was really played heavily into just marketability.
Yeah, and good characters. Lightning McQueen is will go down as one of the most memorable Pixar characters. Tow Mater as well. But yeah, again, solid movie, just kind of middle of the road for me.
Okay, so that was 15. 14 on my list is Finding Dory. Same reasons you said. It was cute. But I could have lived without it. But it was cute. Sure. I enjoyed watching it, but I don't like wake up in the middle of the night thinking, oh my gosh, I need to see Finding Dory again.
Yeah. Apparently going back to the Mike's favorite. So sorry, Mike. 15. I'm sorry.
That's a good soundtrack.
Yeah. Okay. 14.
Yes.
14 for me is Brave. So this, oh dear, I've struck a chord.
What? Brave is 14.
14, yes.
That is the bottom,
because
third.
Everything else above it is better than it, in my opinion. But that's okay.
It's wrong.
Brave, I love Brave. In fact, Brave was my child's first really favorite movie at a year old. She would just want to watch Brave. She would see Merida's red hair on Disney Plus and just want to watch that. And yeah, I like it. I mean, I love all the characters. I think that movie teaches a very valuable lesson that you make mistakes and there are consequences for it.
Yeah.
But she was able to fix that. So don't want to spoil it for anyone who's never seen it, because I'm sure there is.
It's a kids movie. It's not like, well, she makes a mistake and then they all die. This isn't the Rise of Skywalker.
Highlight to my lovely wife. We have the whole movie memorized. My Scott's accent really improved through the experience. This is true.
That's so funny. I love meeting Merida.
Your mom. She turns into
your mom. She turns into a bear. Nice. Love it.
All right, number 13 for you.
All right. Cars. Well, I think we've just finished. Everyone's gotten all the cars out of their system.
Yep, all the Cars are done except for Mike. Mike loved Cars.
Hey, it's a good movie. It's just not like next tier, but for us.
Yep.
What do we know? Mike?
Yeah.
Mike,
number 13 for me, Incredibles 2.
Hmm.
So, solid sequel. Again, we waited a long time for it.
Yeah.
I think it was definitely more adult-ish for a Pixar movie, but that's fine. It appealed to, the people who were watching it were probably kids when The Incredibles came out, and
2005, I think.
Yeah.
So
I think they did a good job. I thought it was interesting because I remember when they were first advertising for it, I'm like, oh man, like when is this going to take place?
Yeah.
And the answer to that is 30 seconds after the movie ends. So that was interesting, but it was cool seeing all those characters back, and again, pretty good movie.
Yeah. Cool. 12, right? Or number 12?
Yeah, number 12.
All right, number 12 on my list is Toy Story 2. I remember going to see this in theaters. I didn't see the first one in theater. Like I don't remember what year it came out. I think it was before I was born. But we love Toy Story. And this is where it starts to get for me like the really tricky area, because I loved Toy Story 2. I like the addition of the characters and kind of like Woody's backstory as like not just him, but like this whole like what he is as a toy. Kind of like Buzz has a whole universe as a toy too. And Toy Story 2 is really funny. It's not the best out of all four, but it's a solid middle film sequel that kind of opened the door for them to do more things. Eventually they did, of course, down the line, but a great follow-up. And I love watching the movies and seeing the technology progress and the animation quality. Yeah, and you can even see it between the first and second one.
Yep. It's a little higher on my list, so I will save my thoughts till a little later. Oh. So number 12 for me is A Bug's Life. So the second Pixar movie.
Yeah.
Right after Toy Story. I remember watching this movie so many times. It was great. I think Flick and Ada are all great characters. I think all of the circus bugs are
so funny.
The jokes are so great. They're classic. And I actually watched A Bug's Life probably a couple months ago, and it had been several years since I've watched it. Thing holds up. And
it does.
It holds up well. And it's a lot of fun.
World building, and it is so good. And I'll comment because it's my number 11 was A Bug's Life. Yeah, the second Pixar movie, and the puns are really funny. And the older you get, not in an inappropriate way, but you catch more jokes, just like knowing things. I don't know. Pixar had this knack in the early, and I think it's kind of worn off, that they would be a little more like sarcastic in some of their characters, or in some of their humor was a little bit more, I don't want to say rough because it's not rough, but it's not as fluffy as like Toy Story 4 is, where the humor is like very kid level. And yeah, Bug's Life has some really, really good funny lines.
Yeah, we're getting some Bug's Life comments.
Yay!
A Bug's Life area in Disneyland, and another R.I.P. Bug's Land. Oh. Yes, R.I.P. Heimlich's Choo Choo Train. So yeah, it's sad. So, but and Christoph brings a good point as well. Crazy that Bug's Life and Ants came out at the same time back in '98. Bug's Life is funny. Better. Even though I enjoyed Ants too. I enjoyed Ants as well. I had forgotten about it.
That was one of my dad loved that movie, so we watched it a lot growing up. And again, older you get, you're like, oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's got more layers.
It's a different animation style, but still pretty good. So that was 11 for you, yes?
Yes.
11 for me, Monsters Inc. I mean, it's classic. It's a classic movie. I wish there was like a Monsters Inc. attraction. at Disney World, maybe one day. But
What
I
about
mean,
the laugh floor?
well, like real attraction. Sorry.
Okay.
I can't like. Oh no. Laugh Floor
You're
didn't
that
even make my top 100. So
Oh, that's right. Oh man, I like laugh floor.
I always forget it exists because it's not great. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, Mike and Sully, Boo, yellow snow cones, just all the things. Roz. Oh,
Yeah.
Roz is one of the greatest characters of all time.
Oh, so good. All right, so are we entering our top 10?
This is the top 10.
All right, here we go. My number 10 is Incredibles 2. I thought after coming back for so long, because that was like 13 years, I think, in between Incredibles movies. Like, it was a long time. And I thought it was hilarious. I like the switch of the roles and everything, seeing like more characters. I was just very entertained with Incredibles 2, which can be hit or miss, as we've seen with some of these sequels. Sequels, of course, are kind of like a safer route than like creating a whole new world like they do, because you have established characters and people like familiarity. But I thought this one was very solid. I really enjoyed Incredibles 2.
Yep, it's a good movie. So with number 10 for me, this just goes to show, like, outside of Toy Story 4, all of the Toy Stories, Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 are in the top 10.
Yeah.
I think that is something to be said about the characters that were created in that world with Buzz and Woody.
Well, I have a Toy Story shirt on.
Oh,
I have a cowboy
camp counselor. Oh, and
I love Toy Story.
Wearing, like,
Woody?
Red. Yeah, sure. That was totally planned. Number 10 for me is Toy Story. So the original, always a classic. Yeah, and like you said before, it's interesting seeing the progression of the animation, because the animation is a little rough. But I mean, you think of when it was made, and that thing was state of the art.
Yeah.
Cutting edge animation, computer animation, for back when that came out. And it's a classic.
Is there I'm trying to think. There's a couple of Pixar documentaries, and are some of them on Disney Plus?
Yeah, I think so.
I think there's at least one. Yeah. Anyway, watch it. Like any of the, even I think it was like Toy Story at 20. I think they also had a special, or Toy Story at something a few years ago, and it was just really cool how that whole movie and characters came about. Yeah.
Number
9 on my list is Finding Nemo.
Okay.
And yeah, we're kind of entering this zone where it's really hard to move them around for me. These are solid movies. Like, there's still like another tier to go, but some of these are pretty interchangeable. But Finding Nemo, I remember my dad, my brother and I went and saw it in theaters. My mom was doing something else, and I was crying from laughing at the whale scene and just Dory and everything. And we told my mom how good of a movie it is. So then, like, the next weekend we went and saw it with her, or all four of us went. And within the first, 45 seconds of the movie, the mom dies. And she's like, this isn't a good movie. She's like, did you like it because the mom died? I was like, no, it's a good movie. She's like, I don't like that the mom died. I was like, that's the whole catalyst of the movie. So that's just a little joke.
Typical for Disney. Yeah, I mean, parents got to die at some point, right?
Yeah. So she's always like, and we're like, we love Finding Nemo. She's like, but the mom dies. Like, it's been like 20 years. It's fine.
Doesn't count it over it. Number 9 for me is The Incredibles. Oh man, it's such a good movie. Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl.
The score.
Oh, the music. The music is maybe the best out of any. I would say maybe.
There's one major exception, I think, for music on this list.
Coco.
Well, okay, maybe 2.
Trying to guess what it would be.
There's a whole segment where there's just music, and it tells a story.
Oh, Up.
Yeah.
And Ratatouille. I like the French music as well. So, but I think
Incredible.
The Incredibles may be the best Pixar soundtrack out there. Music Incredibles. So, great movie. Number 8 for you.
The Incredibles.
Oh, how about that?
I know we're a little more on sync in some of these than I thought. So a little shocked with Brave, but that's fine. I just love The Incredibles. What superpower would you want?
Oh, I don't know.
On the spot. You've never thought about it?
No.
I would want something like I could like move things with my mind or something like that. Because that just seems like you can just shut everything down. Like you're kind of invincible and I don't want to lose. So.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. Maybe the same. I haven't really thought about it.
Well, I'm going to have to take you down then because there can only be one of us.
Ooh. Yikes.
Number 8 on your list.
Finding Nemo.
Ah, look at that. We're just switched.
Finding Nemo is a classic. I watched it not too long ago. See, we're going through a lot of Disney movies right now and Pixar movies just because I have a 2.5-year-old.
And there's nothing to do.
Right, because it's, Corona and all that stuff. But Finding Nemo is one of her favorites. She likes.
Oh, good. Aw.
And Ellen DeGeneres just man as Dory is just so good.
Oh, she's
so
perfect.
Good, so funny. I want to know how much of her lines were ad-libbed.
Like when she's dreaming, she's like, "Oh yes, I'm a natural blue."
Yeah,
that's so funny.
So many great lines. Oh, it's a great movie. I like all the fish in the fish tank. Mount Wanahakalugi, shark bait. Yeah, that's a good one. So number 8 for me, Finding Nemo. All right,
7. I've got Monsters Inc.
Okay.
I think there are from here on out on my list and there's still 2 Toy Stories left. But for me, we're really moving into the like really detailed like world building again that I just feel Pixar does better in some instances than Disney, because Disney characters usually sometimes they're based on something else like a fairy tale or another character, but then you have like Zootopia where again like you have a whole new world built around it, and I just feel like Monsters Inc. is so good with all the little unique monsters and the references to things, and I love the like harsh sarcasm of Mike. I think he was my favorite character by far. I was like, Sully's great. I'm supposed to like Sully, but I like Mike because he's mean and that's funny because I was apparently a messed up child. But yeah, Monsters Inc. I laugh at that movie every time I see it.
It's a great movie. So for sure. Number 7 for me is Toy Story 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You think that's high?
No, I'm just thinking like there's 3 Toy Stories left and you have 7 movies. So.
Oh, no. There's only one more Toy Story because.
Oh, you already had the first one. That's right.
Toy Story was my number 10.
That's
Toy
right.
Story 2 is one of those instances where I believe the sequel is better than the original.
Huh.
And I think there was just an improvement. I think there was maybe a little bit more emotion in Toy Story 2, especially with When She Loved Me. Gosh. Maybe one of the greatest Pixar songs ever scored.
You want to know a secret? I found that part really boring as a child and would fast forward.
What about now, Kizzy? What about now?
I like making fun of it because my mom doesn't like it, or like if anyone else is in the room and you just like sing along really obnoxiously with it, because again, apparently was a terrible child.
Apparently. Heartless, Susie, heartless. I mean, how can that not hit the heartstrings? I'm just saying. Jesse.
I don't know. But it does add a really a deep element that we see in Toy Story 3 and then unfortunately like in Toy Story 4 about like abandoning like your toy, like what happens when you move on from that.
You're giving away all these toys ever again. And I am one to believe the fan theory that Jesse's owner, who gave it up, was Andy's mom.
So she just accepted the fact that, hey, this toy I haven't seen in 30 years just popped up in my kid's bedroom and I didn't pay for it, and that's okay. Like, I like the idea, though. I do like the idea.
I like the idea. It holds water better than some other Disney myths and things. So,
well, while we're talking about that, there is a theory that connects every single Pixar movie together. And that is some crazy, like, basement conspiracy theorist work. Has, like, I think Boo ends up being the witch in Up, or not Up, and Brave, and then someone else was in Up that's connected. I can't remember. It's weird.
I remember seeing it. I need to go back and look at it again. So
really weird.
All right, number 6 for you.
The first Toy Story.
Okay.
Now, were you a like Team Buzz or like Team Woody, or just in general, are you Team Buzz or Team Woody?
I never really picked sides. I enjoyed both of them for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun to see them fight.
Yeah. See, now you're the messed up child.
It was just fun with the jokes in between them.
Yeah.
Woody calling Buzz Lightyear Mr. Lightbeer.
And then the Mrs. Nesbit bit where
it's so good.
It's so weird. It's so good. Yeah, that's my number 6. How about you?
Number 6 for me is Up.
Mm-hmm.
It has fallen on my list a little bit over probably the course of the past few years.
Why?
It was pretty high up on my list, but the more that I think about it, the beginning of the movie is maybe the most brilliant first few minutes of any Pixar movie ever. And then the rest of it is good, but not quite that good. Does that make sense? Like, it's a good story, but I mean, they had you there at the beginning in that montage.
I know.
Again,
okay, we'll talk about when I get to it.
The power of
music
and nonverbal communication.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Up, number 6 for me.
Yeah, all right. Top 5 are so close to being interchangeable now. This is really hard. But number 5, I've got Brave. I absolutely adore Merida. I love this story. I like that it is I always say this, like, it's the least Pixar feeling Pixar movie. Just because it's not like an inanimate object that has feelings. Like, there's very few, things on here. I mean, The Incredibles, but that are solely focused on, like, people.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Merida's independence. I love that her and her mom, like, both have to learn this lesson. And I think it's great. I do like the music isn't like top tier, but I still like the music in Brave. And I just really like this movie. I don't know why. I just think she is such a unique female character. I think that's part of it. So a little biased.
Okay. Number 5 for me is Ratatouille. So, I know your favorite rat movie. I like the characters. I think it was out of the box, something you wouldn't expect. A rat teaching a guy how to cook.
Yeah.
An expert chef. But I mean, Remy and Linguini and Ego, I think, is one of the great, not villains, but he's clearly the antagonist of the movie, going to shut the place down. And he comes in and Remy makes him ratatouille, and he has the childhood memories. It's just fun. It's a fun movie. I think the voice acting was great. I like the plot line. I think the music's great in that too. And we get an attraction soon. So yeah, looking forward to riding along with Remy and being the size of a rat going through Paris Kitchen. So it'll be fun.
Have you ever had ratatouille, the dish?
I have.
It's good.
Yeah, if you are a vegetarian, it is a great vegetarian dish. And yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah, I do like that aspect of it. All right. Number 4. This is so hard. Honestly, these top 4, I could give it to any of them. So don't get upset, anyone. But number 4 is Coco.
Oh. Oh.
Coco is the most beautiful, like visually stunning movie on this list. It is if I sit and I just like think, if I just talk about Coco for much longer, I could cry. I just love this movie. The idea of like leaving a legacy for your family and like remembering people and just like, you know, keeping them in your heart. And it's just, it's beautiful. It's so moving. It's funny. Again, the world building is very detailed, but at the same time, very easy to understand because it is a child's movie. You know, these are family movies. So Coco is just, it's about perfection, really, at this point. The rest of these on my list are.
Yep. I mean, this is the best of the best from this point on. I think just it's personal preference from here on out. Number 4 for me is WALL-E. And I know WALL-E was pretty low on your list. Where was that again? Where was WALL-E?
It wasn't as low as David Dollar had Splash Mountain on his top 100. So I hope he's listening tonight or watching at some point. I had WALL-E at 19. So really towards the bottom.
Yeah, like really towards the bottom.
Maybe, like, tell me why this is a good movie.
And you know, a lot of people disagree with me about WALL-E too. But the first 45 minutes of WALL-E is one of the most impressive things that I have ever seen in a Pixar movie. There is no dialogue, none. You have to learn about your character through sound, the sound design, through movement, the communication through WALL-E's movements, his emotions. That's how you pick up on his emotions. And then, of course, visually. But there's no dialogue. And I think it was just a risk. Like, that was a risky thing to do for a film. And I thought they executed it brilliantly. And then another bold move, pretty much at this point in time, you know, the thought of global warming started kind of coming together. And this was clearly an environmental statement in this movie. And I think that was also a brave thing to do. Just kind of pointing out that we as humans are just kind of big fat slobs. And
Not wrong.
It's not wrong. So I think it I think it's high for me, for its alternate storytelling, which isn't common, and then the risks that they took in their message during this time when it was released. So yeah, I think it was a solid movie, and I think it's in the top 5 for me. So number 4.
All right. I may give it another chance. I agree. Like,
and WALL-E and Eve's relationship is just, it's pretty great.
I don't know why I just didn't get into it the first time I saw it. And then I was like, well, I don't really want to start that again, but maybe.
I mean, the poor guy just doesn't give up on his love.
That's cute.
So we'll need to revisit that for sure.
Okay.
Right. Top 3. Let's go.
All right. Number 3, Toy Story 3.
Also number 3 for me.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Oh, shoot. I know your top 2 are. Yeah, Toy Story 3 is, I mean, let's just park on it then for a second. In what should have been the conclusion to a Toy Story trilogy.
That can be another topic for another day. Why it should have ended there?
Well, it just, there's resolution, there's comfort, there's the comfort and understanding that this is done, this book is closed. But guess what? There's another book, but you've already read the first one, and so you kind of know how it goes, and it's going to be happy. It's going to be fine because you know, you have to give up these things and life goes on. And then also looking at it from the perspective of toys, you know, you never run out of like a purpose in your life. There's always someone who needs you or something that you can be doing. And that scene and the trash compactor furnace.
Brutal. It's brutal.
I thought they were going to kill him. I really did.
Okay, is this how it's going to end? Really? It's going to like burn them all up like Terminator? Yeah, it's great. Same reasons why it's number 3 for me. I mean, I think it is the best Toy Story movie that they produced. Has a perfect ending. Yeah. It wraps everything up nicely. They decided to go with the 4th one, and that's okay. But Toy Story 3 was, if they had decided to end it there, it would have been perfect. I think Adam agrees as well. Favorite Toy Story 3. So yeah, it's just brilliant storytelling, and you add some new characters like Mr. Prickle Pants and Lotso Huggin' Bear. Interesting villain for sure. So
yeah, and again, this is what I also really like about villains in general, is when they have a story that you kind of are like, like I don't agree with you, but I see where you're coming from. And it's interesting how like Lotso reacted to a situation that was in a way similar to Jessie, just in like losing that person, and how the two different characters turned out.
Yeah, and Christoph says Toy Story 3 is one of 4 movies that has ever made me cry. That ending gets me every time, especially since I was Andy's age when this came out. Yeah,
I was my senior year of high school-ish, or junior year. I was around that time too, so I was like, I don't want to lose my toys.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie about growing up and moving on, and it can be sad, but it can also be exciting. And
what a good conclusion it would have been.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right. So we got 2 left.
Yeah.
I know what one of them is for you.
Yeah. Okay. I know we're like live, but I meant to get this before and I totally forgot. But for my number 2, I have a visual.
Oh, a visual. Okay, let's go. Silence on the air. Okay, we have a visual.
All right, we have a visual.
Okay.
You saying that? Okay. My number 2 is Up.
Okay.
And I love Up because of all the reasons we talked about before. And I do see the first half of the movie even is like possibly better than the second half, but at least influence is like weaved throughout the entire movie. And so the weight of that beginning part really endears you to the characters throughout the rest of the film. And it's funny and it's cute. And here's my visual. This was my college graduation cap. How do I turn it? Because it's opposite the camera.
There you go. Yeah, that's it.
Adventure is out there. And
it's the right side on our screen, so you're good.
Okay, good. We made all these like little balloons, and there's some string, and out there is cut out from a map.
Nice.
So that was my college graduation cap.
Mickey.
And I got it was not hidden very well, but
and what's the one on the red balloon?
Oh, 16. Class is 16.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just such a fun movie, such cute characters. The ending is just, again, so sweet. Pixar has a really good job of the like found family storyline, and yeah, that one just gets me.
Yeah, and, we joined our friend David Dollar on his podcast a couple weeks ago for Father's Day, and Carl made my top Disney dads, even though he wasn't a dad. He was a father figure for Russell, and it's a great storyline. There's a lot of fun elements in it. There's even some Star Wars references in there.
Oh, it's such a good movie. The dogs, I love dogs. Mine is barking right now. If anyone can hear that, I'm sorry, but yeah.
All right, so number 2 for me is definitely your number 1.
Yeah.
So number 2 is Inside Out. What can you say? I mean,
it's so good.
It's a masterpiece. Like it is literally a masterpiece.
Yeah.
you talk about thinking outside of the box. Just imagine coming into a pitch meeting and you're like, all right, we're going to make a feature-length animated film on emotions.
What?
And man, did they execute that. I mean,
so good. There's
joy,
so
sadness,
many
anger,
layers. I can catch something new every time I watch this movie, not just from like the puns or the different like metaphors for things, but just the meaning and the end of how a happy and a sad ding dong, may your recipe. Bing bong.
Yes. Bing
Everyone's
bong.
dead. Who cares? Where it's like a happy and a sad.
Yeah. Because Inside Out made me cry ugly tears in the theater. I love it so much. The emotion characters are amazing.
Yes.
Completely agree. I don't want to talk about it anymore because I want to let you talk about it since it's your number one.
I don't know what else to say about it. It just the cast, by the way, is also spot on across the board. You know, you just think back to like when you were a kid and there's like a major like issue, you know, moment in your life that's like this transition point or just anything, not even from when you're a kid, but like how you process things and how these memories like build like who you are. It's a very deep movie that I feel very like deep. Everyone can watch. We watched it in college for nonverbal communication section we had in one of our classes. Just from, I don't know, man, Inside Out. Just I think there's others I may like better, but I just think as a whole, it's very close for me for Inside Out to be just about perfect. The imagination behind bringing abstract ideas to something very concrete that's relatable is the execution is about flawless.
Yep. And number one for me is Coco. So
I think give me about 2 years and I'll have Coco like number 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's really number 1 and number 2 were actually really tough for me between Inside Out and Coco, just because they are so good. Mm-hmm. Coco is just it's almost perfect in every way. Just you have really great characters, really great story. Again, you harped on it with family and the importance of family. The music is phenomenal. And they even did a separate concert. They did a concert over in the Hollywood Bowl that is also on Disney Plus. So the music of Coco, they did go check that out. But the villain, I mean, the villain is perfect. Ernesto de la Cruz, one of my favorite Disney villains or Pixar villains. Yeah, there's just so much in that movie to kind of sit back and take in, and it just goes together perfectly. But yeah. Jen is also a huge fan of Inside Out. Bing Bong.
Aww.
Yeah, Bing Bong makes a lot of people cry, but hey, it's Pixar's job to make people cry.
And basically like our entire top 5s were just sob stories.
Yeah. And I'm sure we will maybe even have more tears once Soul comes out.
Oh my gosh. Soul looks so good.
I'm excited for Soul. So we'll see where that stacks up once it comes out. I think it's going to be a good one.
Is it scheduled for next year? So we may actually get to see it in
a theater.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. And we have some theaters, I think, starting to open up back July 24th. We'll see. So
that's cool.
There's one thing, like one thing I have missed during this whole coronavirus quarantine thing, man, I have missed a theater. There is nothing like going in a theater, big comfy seat, big old bowl of popcorn, and enjoying a really good movie, especially a movie. So
yes, and I like I love seeing all the videos from like opening night of Endgame when everyone's like cheering at the end.
Oh man,
I miss moments like that with strangers and movies. I mean, really, Pixar movies really connect people in a lot of different ways because they are really emotional, but because everyone can take something away, because again, there's so many layers to all of them. Maybe not Monsters University or Cars 2, but all the other ones, there's something for kids and there's something for adults, without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, we have enjoyed breaking down our list with you, and we have enjoyed looking at your comments on what some of your favorite Pixar movies are. We wholeheartedly agree with you on all of them because they are amazing. So thank you for interacting with us tonight, and interact with us throughout the rest of the week as well. You can find us on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, of course, if you're watching from our Facebook page. Here's where you can all find us. Facebook, we're at ImagineEars Disney Podcast. On Instagram, we're at _Imagineers. And on Twitter, we're Imagine_ears. You can also find us on podcasts if you haven't subscribed. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all major places where you can find podcasts. You can just search for us and we should pop up. And we hope that you have enjoyed the podcast as always. And if you've enjoyed it, leave us a rating. Tell us what you like about the show. And we want to point out again that we are actually on Patreon now. Yay! So if you really love the podcast and want to see us progress, we've actually started a Patreon community. We have some members now, and we're going to be sharing some exclusive content with them, and we're having some fun giveaways coming up. Again, for the month. Yes, I do.
There it is.
For the month of July, we will be having a drawing for the child, actual child size. So, it's pretty big, especially when you compare it to other pop vinyls. But I think it's actually a bobblehead, so not coming out of the box because it's going to you. But if you want in on that, come join our Patreon community. And there's just a lot of fun stuff that we're going to do there, and we're going to continue doing for the podcast as well. And we look forward to coming back next week with another great episode. And until then, friends, remember, if you can dream it, you can do it.